2-month-old child not breathing. CPR is in progress.
A baby found unresponsive in a bassinet.
Once a child is shaken, the damage is done.
What the child's father admitted to doing before leaving the house.
2 dead in a suspected murder-suicide.
They wish they hadn't seen what they saw.
Who police say found the bodies.
Finally climbing out of the icebox. Find out how many days we could see highs above freezing and when's the next best chance for a wintry mix to return to the valley.
Building hope brick by brick.
And some of the donations were from complete strangers, people we've never met, never stepped foot in the store.
How a Lego superfan got a special gift thanks to a community that cared.
From Glen Rock to Milan, the Susquehanna Valley cheers on their hometown Olympian.
WGAL News 8 at 10 starts now.
New tonight, we're hearing from the family of a Garden Spot High School lacrosse player who they say got a concussion after a coach and school board member pushed and struck the back of his helmet with a lacrosse stick. Good evening, I'm Jerry Gish.
And I'm Tasmin Mahfouz. News 8's Michael Fuller joins us now with what else they had to say and how the board is responding. Michael.
Yeah, Jerry and Tasmin, during tonight's Eastern Lancaster County School Board meeting, Tabitha Bender says Brian Naranjo hit her son during a practice last month, and she says it was all caught on camera.
Watching the video of this incident was devastating. As a parent, trusting my child to this school and its leadership is something I do not do lightly. Learning that an adult entrusted with authority, mentorship, and decision-making power chose to use violence is shattering. The fact that this individual holds a position on the school board only compounds the seriousness of this incident and raises grave concerns about accountability and conflicts of interest.
Well, News 8 was at tonight's meeting where Bender and her daughter both went before the board and delivered prepared speeches expressing their concerns with the former coach. Bender went on to call for the removal of Naranjo from all positions involving student contact, as well as clear communication from the board regarding how this matter will be handled. Now, however, just before Bender spoke, school board president Jonathan Dahl said Naranjo indicated 2 hours prior to the meeting that he would be resigning from his role on the board and that his resignation would be part of the agenda at the following meeting, which is scheduled for February 23rd.
I've said for many years that safety and the well-being of our students is our highest responsibility. That commitment guides every decision we make. Our focus remains on maintaining a safe, supportive learning environment while ensuring that situations like this are handled thoughtfully, professionally, and in accordance with the law.
And Dahl also said Naranjo is no longer serving as a district lacrosse volunteer. And Westerville Township Police had previously cited Naranjo, but today the district attorney's office confirmed with News 8 that a harassment charge was withdrawn pending further evaluation regarding the severity of the offense. And we now know he was charged with a summary level offense. Back to you.
All right, Michael, thank you. Now over to the Storm Team forecast. We got meteorologist Ethan Houston here. Ethan, will there be any warm-ups anytime soon?
Finally, yes. I do expect we're going to start to see some warmer weather as we go on in through midweek. We still have a cold night outside right now. Temperatures right now at 18 degrees in Harrisburg, 21 in Lancaster. But the difference compared to the past couple of nights, we have light winds, not that incredibly piercing cold breeze that we've had out there that pushed feels like temperatures well below zero. We've got some cloud cover outside right now. That will slow down the cooling process, and temperatures actually may rise a couple of degrees as we get closer to dawn. And notice tomorrow we finally get back up above freezing with highs close to 40 degrees. So we're climbing out of the ice box. We'll have a series of days. In fact, I think the next 10 days we will see highs at or above freezing. Most of this work week looks like it is going to be dry. We have a couple of opportunities for some isolated showers tomorrow, but it's during the weekend we're watching the chances for some wet weather. As of right now, looks to be a wintry mix on Sunday, may linger into Monday of next week. We'll talk about that in the 10-day forecast in just a few minutes.
Ethan, thank you. And tonight, a Lancaster County man is facing charges after police say a child was killed by shaken baby syndrome. Police say they arrested a New Holland man after he went to police and admitted to them that he shook his daughter multiple times because she was crying.
Westerville Township Police say they were called to the home just after 5:30 last Sunday. About an hour later, detectives say 47-year-old David Salton showed up at the police station and admitted to killing the infant. According to the Department of Health, 1 in every 4 babies who are shaken will die. Pediatrician Dr. Pia Fenimore says shaken baby syndrome is not treatable, but it is preventable.
We really try to do as much education, both prenatally and postnatally, for parents about seeing the warning signs of feeling overwhelmed, about seeking out help when you do feel that way.
Sowden is in the Lancaster County Jail facing multiple felony charges, including murder in the 3rd degree.
2 people are dead after what police suspect was a domestic dispute in Perry County. Pennsylvania State Police are investigating the deaths of 35-year-old Kevin Crockett and 38-year-old Ashley Rice at an apartment complex along Route 11 in Watts Township. Family members of Rice, who came to the apartment today to pick up her cats, say it was Ashley's daughter who found the pair Sunday afternoon.
Apparently he shot her and then killed himself. To one of them situations, if I can't have you, nobody can, I guess.
Autopsies are not yet scheduled. State police and the coroner's office have not released the official cause and manner of death.
The American Red Cross says it helped 4 people affected by a house fire today in Greenwood Township, Perry County. The Millerstown fire chief says the house is destroyed after this morning's fire on West Parkway near Old Ferry Road. The chief says crews were hampered by lack of water, cold weather and snow blocking access to the river that was nearby. Crews had to travel to fire hydrants in Millerstown and Newport in order to get water. He also says no residents or firefighters were injured, but 2 dogs were unable to be rescued as firefighters were driven back by intense heat. The state police fire marshal is investigating the cause of the fire.
2 middle schoolers in Franklin County were taken to the hospital after they consumed something before school that made them sick. That's according to emergency dispatchers and school officials from the Tuscarora School District. A statement from the district says 2 students at James Buchanan Middle School in Peters Township were evaluated by the nurse after they reported consuming what were told is an unknown substance. The superintendent tells us there is no indication of any broader issue and it's unrelated to the school.
A Lebanon County man was sentenced after pleading guilty to selling ghost guns, often described as homemade weapons that are untraceable. 35-year-old Hector Cullen of Annville was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison and a year of supervised release. The U.S. attorney says Cullen sold these guns between August of 2021 and January of 2022 without a federal firearms license. Investigators say Cullen had reason to believe the guns would end up in the hands of a person who would not be allowed to have them or used in a felony. All 28 guns were recovered by law enforcement.